channel. Today I'm going to be talking about being a working mom. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I like about it, some of the things that I don't like about it, and then some of the things that I do that helps me get through everything a lot smoother, helps me deal with being away from the house, helps me get stuff done, just the way that I balance the two, working and motherhood. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in and get into it. I made a list on my phone because, among other things, pregnancy brain has totally got me and I forget everything all the time. So first I'm going to talk about the things that I enjoy about working. So I actually do enjoy working in general. I love having not necessarily a purpose, because being a mom is definitely a purpose to your life, but I like having something else about me that is just not being a mom. I have a professional environment and I really just enjoy working. I know it's weird, but I was made for corporate America and I love going into the office. I love being there. Not every day, definitely not every day, and there's sometimes I wish I didn't work, but overall I really just enjoy working. I also in the unique position where I work for my father, and I love working with my dad, for my dad, most of the time. Of course, working with family is can be very distracting and hard sometimes, but I really enjoy it. I love carrying on something that he built, and it gives me a lot of pride working for my dad, and I love making him happy. So that's definitely something that I totally enjoy. I just enjoy working in general. Of course, I have my days where I don't want to go in, and I complain about work a lot because everybody does. But overall, I really do enjoy my job, and I just like working. Some other things that I really like about working is that I get away from the house. So I do wish that I worked from home sometimes or other things, but on a general schedule, I like that I can get away for a little bit and have adult time. Really nice to get away from the house, to just be me and just have adult time and adult conversation where I'm not talking on things other than my house and being a mom, and it's just good for my soul. It's what I enjoy, and it's a good break for me. Also, I really enjoy being able to help provide for my family. There's nothing wrong with just having a sole breadwinner in your household, however you make that work. I just love knowing that I help contribute towards the lifestyle that I want to live and the life that I want to give my children. We live very comfortably in that we can pay our bills and we can still go out and do what we want to do, and I love knowing that I help contribute to that, because if I didn't work, so many things would be different for us, but I love our life the way it is. And if that means that me working helps make it this way, then I'm A-okay with it. And I like knowing that I am helping make my daughter's life this way. But those are some of the major things that I like about working, that it just gives me a purpose, and other than being a mom, and I get away from the house, and I just enjoy working, you know. Not everybody does, but I do. So some of the things, so there are, of course, with anything, there's things that I don't like about it. So I'll talk about those now. I don't love leaving my child every day. So I know that I said that it's nice to get away, and it is, but trust me, I do feel guilty leaving my daughter almost every day. I hate not being there for all the small things that happen during the day. When Fiona was much smaller, it was harder because I was constantly afraid of missing out on first steps and first words and the first time she rolled over. And luckily, when I talk about how we balance things, we've kind of found a way around that, because we don't really talk about it. So if Fiona was to, or this next baby, for example, was to roll over for the first time at my mom's house, or at my mother-in-law's house, we don't really talk about it because I don't want to hear about it. I know that's weird, and I know people might hate that, but I'd rather just pretend that when I see her roll over for the first time, that that's the first time it's happening. Of course, some do like to just kind of pretend that those things don't happen. I do, because I do hate missing out. There are times that I wish I could be there for my daughter every second of every day, and I just can't because I do work and I have to work. So I really do hate, obviously that's the big one, I hate missing out more than anything. Also, for us, we work split schedules, so I work, or not necessarily split schedule, we work opposite schedule. So I work in the day, Matthew works at night, and we only really see each other on the weekends. So we really have limited family time, which sucks. It really does. And the biggest thing that is the hardest for me about working, me and Matthew are very lucky. Both my mother and his mother stay home and have always been at home. So they watch our daughter for us during the week. They split the week and they take turns on who gets 3 days and who gets 2 days. And we do not pay for any child care whatsoever, which is amazing. It is honestly such a blessing, and we are so very lucky, and we know that. We do. I do know that. I do know I'm lucky. But give me a second here while I explain myself. And I'm not, this is so hard for me to talk about, simply because it brings up a lot of arguments. So the worst part is when people do not listen to me about what I want to be done with my daughter. So I don't think that anybody else is raising my kid. I'm raising my child. I'm raising her the way that I want to. But when you do have family members that watch your children, sometimes it gets very difficult because they don't always want to listen, or they don't realize they're not listening. So I'm very strict and I'm very anal about the things that I want done with Fiona when I'm not there, because I get 2 hours a day with my daughter. So I get home around 5:30 with her, regardless if I'm picking her up or she's getting dropped off, and we're starting bedtime by 7:30. So, and she's in bed by 8. So that's what, 2.5 hours? I have 2.5 hours with my daughter a day. I want to make that work, and I don't want to spend that time fighting with her. And I know she's 2, so I know it's impossible to get past, but it's incredibly frustrating when I am fighting with her about things that I don't want her to do, but other people let her do. So I'm not going to get into specifics, and I'm really not going to just, really, I just don't want to get into it because people watch my videos and I don't want to fight about it. But that is definitely the biggest part. When I say I don't want her to do something and somebody does it anyway, regardless of who it is, because everybody does it. Obviously, they've raised children on their own. I am one of 5. Matthew is one of 3. And they have raised their children and they know how to do it. And I respect that 100% because I chose to marry Matthew, and we are here, and we survived, and we had great childhoods. But I want to raise my daughter the way that I want to, so it's so frustrating when we have to argue about these things, and sometimes I think it would be a lot easier to just send her, but like to a daycare or a babysitter, because I'm paying them, and they would listen a lot more. We don't always have these issues, but sometimes they do come up, and sometimes it's really hard for me and my husband. And we argue about it a lot, so that's definitely the biggest thing I hate about working. And it doesn't even have to do with working, really. It's just me not being there and me trying to implement rules in my daughter's life that I want her to follow that people don't necessarily agree with, but that's not your choice. So obviously, you could tell the whole time I was talking to her, there was a little bit of a tone, and it's just because I don't want to get into it, because I don't want to argue about it anymore, because it's one of the biggest arguments that me and my husband have for the last 2.5 years of our lives since our daughter has been alive. It is incredibly difficult to deal with sometimes, and it makes things harder on our marriage, honestly, more than anything, because then we're arguing about who does what and who doesn't listen, and it goes both sides, so this isn't just one way or another. But that part is incredibly frustrating, and sometimes I feel like when I try and make my voice known or I tell my husband to say something, it's always about us not liking someone, and that's not the truth. I love my in-laws. Matthew loves my parents. We love our extended family so much, and we're incredibly lucky to have each and every one of them. It has nothing to do with how much we like somebody. It's just about us wanting to raise our family the way we want to and establish morals and guidelines and rules. And okay, so one of the biggest things that I've actually changed, and it was at the beginning of this year that I changed it, was that I got a planner. So I just have just a regular planner. It's pretty plain, but I like it that way so I can just like fill in whatever I need to fill in. I like a full-size planner so I can fit everything I need to in here. And I use the same one for work as I do for home, so everything's in the same place. So it has the full, and I color coordinate it. So it has the full months here, and you can see that I have like personal stuff, doctor's appointments in purple, and I have like this pinky peach color is my work stuff, and it just helps me to keep myself way more organized. And then I do fill out the weeks as well, and some of them are color coded, some of them are not. I use sticky notes. I make to-do lists, but everything is in here. This is my lifeline. It's just so much easier to keep track of what's going on at work, what I have to get done this week, work-wise, what I have going on at night, what I have going on the weekend, because I am fairly busy. Along with working full-time, I do a Fit for Baby class every Wednesday, and I also do a mom's group every other Thursday. So I am a very busy person in general, and I have a lot going on. So it just helps that everything is here. Also, during the week, I keep everything pretty scheduled. The weekends, I'm a lot more flexible on, especially when it comes to bedtimes and naps and routines and that kind of thing. We kind of fly by the seat of our pants. One, because it's the weekend, and two, because we always have so much going on, I never know what's going to be happening. During the week, though, we keep things very structured. At least me and Fiona do at nighttime. So I get home around 5:30, with or without her, depending on if I'm picking her up or she's getting dropped off. But we're almost always home together by 5:30. And then we play, I cook dinner, we sit down, we eat dinner, then she plays, she watches a movie, does something. Then we move upstairs to do our bedtime routine, which there's a video, and I'll link that below if you want to see it, on what we do at night. So we do bath, bed, and then she goes to sleep. And we do that every single night the same way, unless I have something else going on, and then we'll like cut out bath or something, but it's still pretty structured. That just keeps me on the same page, her on the same page, and she knows what to expect, I know what's going on, and honestly, it makes everything run so much smoother. I gotta wake up for work the next day, so I don't have time to be up all night, and so having a strict schedule, getting her down, then I can get my stuff done, go to bed, wake up, and we do it all over again. So having a pretty strict schedule during the week is nice. Also, this is something that I struggle with the most, but it's my biggest advice that I give anybody, and that's to keep work at work and home at home. So to keep it balanced, that's pretty much what you want to do. That's the ideal situation. Bringing home stuff from work when I'm spending time with Fiona just doesn't work, and if I try to work when she's running around, I get frustrated, and if I try not to check my emails, look at my phone, anything when we're spending time together, because we only have those 2.5 hours, and I really want to spend as much time as I can with her without anything else going on. I get as much work done as I can in my 8-hour shift, and that's where I want to keep it. And especially if I'm frustrated about something during the day, I never want to bring it back here to her. So I try really hard to keep work at work. That's the easy part. I try really hard to keep a home at home as well, but that's what's more difficult for me because I'm away more than I am home. So I try to focus on my work at work, but sometimes my mind does wander, and I'm thinking about the weekend, the nights, things I have to get done, making lists. So I'm really struggling with that, and that's the biggest issue I have. But things work so much better and so much smoothly when I keep it that way, when work is at work and home is at home. The next thing, sorry, I keep checking my notes. is that I'm pretty adaptive. I was going to say flexible, but I don't think flexible is the right word. It's more adaptive. So if something comes up or something changes, I kind of just go with the flow. There's no point in fighting it, and especially when it comes to scheduling, like I come home for lunch every day, typically, because I only work 15 minutes away, and it's really nice for me to come home and see Fiona and see Matt and just spend like a half hour together. I mean, a half hour is a half hour in my mind. So, but some days I can't. So it's just I'm not coming home. That's just what's happening. Or some days I have to pick up Fiona when I wasn't planning on it. Or some days she has to get dropped off. Sometimes she has to stay later. So I pretty much stay pretty adaptive when it comes to all of that. Just so that, you know, I think of the best solution, handle it, and then move on. Let's see. Also, another thing that I'm kind of working on are those arguments I talked about earlier. I'm trying to learn to let things go. So if she doesn't nap, it's not the end of the world. If she has juice, she's not going to die. I don't do juice. I just don't. I don't think she needs it, and she doesn't really want it, so I don't give it to her. But if someone does give it to her, it's not the end of the world. If she eats a snack that I didn't want her to have, is it the end of the world? No, it's not. There's just like some things that I was really anal about that just don't go the way that I planned, and that's okay. So I'm trying to learn to let go of that more, but it's really hard for me because I'm a very controlling person and I'm a very planned out person. So when things don't go the way that I wanted them to, or that somebody doesn't listen to me, I get very frustrated. But that's another thing that I'm working on, is learning to let all of that go and just kind of, not everything is the biggest deal in the world. And then the very last thing that I do to kind of balance work and motherhood and keep it all together is I try to make my time with my family the most. So those 2.5 hours I get with Fiona at night, I try to spend as much time with her as I can, playing with her. And you know, maybe if the housework slips that night, it slips. It's the way it goes. She's the most important thing to me. My husband's the most important thing to me. My family is the most important thing to me. Spending time with them will always trump work, and it will always trump everything else. So when I do have time with them on the weekends, I like to spend as much time with them together as I can and just make the most out of the little moments. So those are the things that I like about working, some things that I don't necessarily like about being a working mom, and then how I make it work. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure it out like I am with everything. My life is all trial and error and winging it every single day, whether it be parenthood, working, being a wife, just living my daily life. I'm just trying to get by. But those are some things that have really been helping me lately. And like I said, it's been 2.5 years I've been a working mom. And at 2.5 years, I finally feel like I have some sort of control and kind of have it together. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing. I have so much more to share with you guys in parenting and life and work and everything that comes in between there. I plan on getting more videos out to you guys, and I am super excited to be here. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share with your friends. I would love for you guys to keep sharing these videos and spreading the word, because that's my point of making this channel, is to share my life with everyone and what I've learned and what I'm going through. And if it helps somebody out there, then fantastic. So, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye.
Yeah, thanks for watching.